Hello, I'm Sophia Micsa, a 10th grade high schooler, and I will be teaching you everything you need to know about the respiratory system in this video. The things that I will be going over include parts of the respiratory system, functions of the respiratory system, the process of inhaling and exhaling, how the respiratory and cardiovascular systems work together, diseases of the respiratory system, how to keep your respiratory system healthy, and fun facts. The respiratory system includes the nose, mouth, throat, voice box, windpipe, and lungs. It also includes the chest wall, which consists of the muscles of respiration, such as the diaphragm, the intercostal muscles, abdominal muscles, and the rib cage to protect the lungs. The respiratory system is one of the most important in our body. Without it, we wouldn't be able to have oxygen delivered to our cells, and we wouldn't be able to get rid of the harmful carbon dioxide in our bodies. Besides helping you inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, it also allows you to talk and smell. It warms air to match your body temperature, as well as moisturize it to the humidity level your body needs. And lastly, it protects your airways from harmful substances and irritants. Now, how does the respiratory system work? First, let's start from the very beginning of its cycle. Air enters our body through either our nose or mouth. Air comes from our environment, which has a high percentage of oxygen in it. If air gets inhaled through our nostrils, tiny hairs called cilia help to filter out dust to protect our nasal passageway. If air is breathed through our nose or mouth, it doesn't make much difference because they both meet at the same place called the pharynx or throat. At the bottom of the throat, the passageway divides into two. The esophagus for food and the other for air is called the trachea or windpipe. A small flap known as the epiglottis prevents food from entering the lungs. If the epiglottis fails at its job, that is how we choke, because the food enters the wrong passageway. Now let's get back to the respiratory system. When the air reaches the bottom of the trachea, it divides left and right to air tubes called bronchi, which connect to the lungs. The bronchi eventually branch out into smaller tubes called bronchioles. These bronchioles end in small air sacs called alveoli, where the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide take place. There are hundreds of millions of alveoli in our lungs, so the exchange is able to be done very efficiently. In a process called diffusion, oxygen moves from the alveoli to the blood through the capillaries lining the alveolar walls. Once in the bloodstream, oxygen gets picked up by the hemoglobin and red blood cells to get delivered to our body's cells. This is now where the respiratory system connects with the cardiovascular system, because the oxygen-rich blood then flows back to the heart, which pumps it through the arteries to oxygen-hungry tissues throughout the body. Oxygen is then freed from the hemoglobin and moves into our body's cells. Carbon dioxide, made by the cells as they do their work, moves out of the cells into the capillaries, where most of it dissolves in the plasma of the blood. Blood rich in carbon dioxide then returns to the heart through veins. From the heart, the blood is pumped to the lungs, where carbon dioxide passes into the alveoli to be exhaled. Then carbon dioxide is removed through the same pathways it came in, through the bronchioles and bronchi, and then out of our nose or mouth. The diaphragm is a very important muscle of the respiratory system, as it expands and contracts the chest to draw air in and out of your lungs. It is the chief muscle of breathing and does 80% of the work. The ribs are bones that protect our lungs and heart. The larynx or voice box is a hollow organ that allows you to talk. Each lung is divided into lobes. The left lung has 2 and the right lung has 3. Each lobe receives air from its own branch of the bronchial tree, but they all have the same function, which is to bring oxygen in the bloodstream and remove carbon dioxide. Now, what conditions can affect the respiratory system? Some develop due to air pollutants or irritants, and others occur as a result of disease or getting older. Some diseases include allergies, which is inhaling dust, mold, and pollen, which can cause respiratory allergies in some people. Asthma is a long-term disorder that causes inflammation in the airways, which can make breathing difficult. People with asthma use an inhaler to help them breathe. Infection can lead to pneumonia or bronchitis, which is the inflammation of the bronchial tubes. Common respiratory infections include the flu or a cold. Or aging. Lung capacity, which is the amount of air you can hold in your lungs, decreases as you get older, which makes the cycle less efficient. After learning about all of these diseases, it's important for you to know how you can keep your respiratory system healthy. Therefore, you should avoid pollutants that can damage your airways, for example, by wearing a mask in polluted areas. Don't smoke. This is what your lungs could look like if you smoke often. You'll have patches of inflammation, decreased lung size, and diaphragm muscle loss. Make sure to eat a healthy diet and stay hydrated. Exercise regularly to keep your lungs healthy. And lastly, wash your hands and get vaccines so that you're less likely to develop an infection. If you haven't gotten your COVID vaccines yet, please get them as soon as possible to keep you and your lungs safe. Here's some fun facts that you may have not known about the respiratory system. The left lung is smaller than the right because it shares space with the heart. Lungs are one of the largest organs in our bodies. The surface area of both lungs is the same size as a tennis court, and the total length of the airways running through them is 1,500 miles, which is the distance from Chicago to Las Vegas. Every day you breathe in over 2,000 gallons of air, which is enough to fill a normal-sized swimming pool. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. This is the last video of my personal project goal, but I'll try to continuously post more when I have free time. If you have any questions about this video or any video that I have posted, you can leave them in the comments below or email me at anatomymastered@gmail.com.